Entity neutralized. Casualty metrics logged. Behavior matched projected outcomes with a deviation rate of less than 5%. Public response inside the simulation remained within acceptable limits. Containment failure was manageable, which confirms the viability of Project A-Theta as a long-term behavioral test. What entity should be added next? SM, what do you suggest?
I suggest we add Jerry. He's a dangerous creature, but he'll grant us interesting results. He attacks anyone and anything he sees, and he doesn't need a door. He isn't patient. He doesn't wait for people to make mistakes. Threat level? Unbounded. Jerry is a God-class entity within his source material. He operates without motive beyond control and cruelty. Once he manifests, engagement is irrelevant. If people hear him before they see him, they're already dead. He announced himself with music. Amazing Grace. When that starts playing, that location is lost. There are no limitations. At least, none that matter. He can alter form, environment, perception. He maintains a personal dimension, the ethos, used for long-term psychological torment. I say add him now because if Project A-Theta is going to continue, you need to understand what happens when control is an illusion. So with that, deploy Jerry.
This is an emergency message issued by local authorities. This is a civil danger warning for Cheyenne, Wyoming. At 2:43 p.m. local time, a large fire broke out near the Cheyenne Frontier Days Old West Museum. This fire is spreading fast and has no known cause as of this time. We recommend residents to evacuate the area until the situation clears, though it is not a mandatory evacuation. Emergency services are currently trying to put out the fire. Leave phone lines open for the usage of 911 in case of emergency. In case the fire spreads further, a mandatory evacuation order may be issued. As of now, prepare for evacuation just in case. Follow instructions and guidance from local law enforcement and wait for further information. We thank you for your cooperation.
(911). What is your emergency?
Heyo? I keep hearing this song. It's coming from everywhere, but I don't see any source.
Song? Can you describe the song?
It's Amazing Grace. You know, that church song. I keep hearing it. It's driving me insane.
Sir, have you had anything to drink or took an hallucinogenic substance?
What? No, of course not. I'm not insane. I'm not on anything. I keep hearing it when I cover my ears.
Where are you right now?
In my home. No one else is with me.
Wait, I hear it too.
What is that?
What is what, sir?
Ah!
This is an emergency message by the Cheyenne Police Department in coordination with the Wyoming Department of Emergency Management. This is a civil danger warning. Yesterday, there have been multiple murders and missing persons reports in a span of just 8 hours. The murder victims have been torn to pieces, with multiple wounds all over their bodies. Many victims have been suspected of being thrown against walls with violent force. There have been approximately 30 missing people as well. Due to this, the state of Wyoming has declared a state of emergency. The police department has issued a statement regarding the situation, and urges people to stay inside, lock all doors and windows, and do not go outside for any reason unless absolutely necessary. The police are currently looking for those responsible and swear to bring them to justice. Please follow law enforcement's instructions and stay updated via local news channels. Thank you for your cooperation during these troubling times. This is a public safety advisory by the Cheyenne Police Department. This is related to the recent murders in our city. There have been multiple 911 callers that have reported a song playing before the call is abruptly ended. This song is Amazing Grace. Reports say that the song starts randomly. It is not heard only by one individual, as multiple people have heard it in the same area. The song doesn't seem to have a source, and comes from everywhere. After this song is heard, the person who reported it will later be found dead, or missing. The police have said this is not natural. The department urges all civilians to report any instance of Amazing Grace, and to leave the area immediately. The state governor has said they will start an investigation on this matter in hopes of figuring out what is causing all this chaos and where the song is playing from. The police urge people to remain inside and keep all doors and windows locked. Further information will be delivered in the following hours. Thank you for your cooperation.
The situation in Minnesota is escalating, and more updates will follow. Now, on to the situation in Wyoming. The governor of Wyoming has launched the investigation into the murders and missing person reports in Cheyenne. Police are patrolling the streets as the threat looms. Reports say that before an attack takes place by an individual or individuals not yet identified, a song will fill the air with its haunting melody, Amazing Grace. A one hopeful church song turned into an omen of doom. The police is urging the public to stay inside and give any information they have. There have also been similar reports in other parts of Wyoming. The situation is escalating fast, and we urge the public to follow the instructions of law enforcement personnel and stand by for further information. Now, on other news, police in Florida say the identity of the killer, who is supposedly named Does Bad Things Guy.
We have left the simulation alone for some time now. And now, finally, Jerry has fully emerged in all his glory, his entrance marked by the familiar melody of Amazing Grace and a large fireball. In Sim, shockwaves circled the world. Most of Cheyenne has been destroyed, and standing in the center of it is Jerry. He doesn't care for human life. He doesn't care about the destruction he causes. He is an interesting entity, because unlike Does Bad Things Guy, he has power. Godlike power, in fact. It'll be interesting to see how the world responds to this. Team morale remains high as we watch Simulation Theta unfold. End of recording.
This is an evacuation immediate warning for Cheyenne, Wyoming issued by the Wyoming Department of Emergency Management. This is not a test. 5 minutes ago, a massive explosion occurred at the center of the city. This explosion has caused a massive fire and a large shockwave, destroying multiple buildings in its wake. This situation poses an immediate and severe threat to your life, and it is important you follow these instructions. Gather all essential supplies. Gather family and pets. Follow police to evacuation routes. The fire is spreading fast, and you do not have much time. Evacuate now.
This is an emergency action notification issued by the United States government and the Wyoming Department of Emergency Management. This is not a test, and you must listen closely in order for you to survive. The explosion in Cheyenne was not natural, but it wasn't an attack. It was an awakening. Standing in the center of the crater was a being. This being is highly aggressive and strong and has godlike abilities. It is described as having a yellow shirt, blue shorts, black shoes, a blue helmet, and a scarred face. This entity has been seen killing people, collapsing buildings, causing spikes to come out of the ground, and much more. This is a national, no, international threat. This entity doesn't care for human life. It doesn't care about the destruction it is causing. All it cares about is to see humans suffer. Amazing Grace? It was a warning, a precursor to what was to come. All those deaths and disappearances pale in comparison to what is happening now. Cheyenne and surrounding areas are considered lost, and anyone in them is already dead. Anyone who is 40-mile radius of Cheyenne is ordered to evacuate immediately. Gather essentials, gather family and pets, the basics. If you happen to come across this entity, it is already far too late. From the moment you hear its melody to the moment you see it, your fate has already been sealed. The United States military has been sent to try and contain or eliminate the threat. Further updates will follow. Stay informed, stay safe, and may God help you if you hear its grace.
This is an emergency action notification issued by the United States government. This is not a test. At approximately 5:40 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, the President of the United States, acting under the authority granted by the Constitution and the War Powers Resolution, has authorized the use of a single nuclear device within the continental United States. This decision follows a confirmed and ongoing existential threat event centered in and around Cheyenne, Wyoming, involving a hostile non-human entity demonstrating capabilities far exceeding conventional military containment. Multiple attempts at engagement using standard and classified weapon systems have failed to neutralize, deter, or meaningfully impair the entity. Escalation protocols have been exhausted. Containment has been deemed no longer viable. The authorized strike is intended solely as a last resort measure to halt further loss of life and prevent the continued expansion of the affected zone. The nuclear detonation will occur within the previously established exclusion area. The estimated yield has been calculated to maximize destructive effect on the target while limiting collateral impact beyond the designated strike radius. All individuals remaining within Cheyenne and a 40-mile surrounding radius are to be considered non-evacuable. Civilian recovery operations in this zone are suspended indefinitely. Residents located outside the exclusion zone but within 100 miles are instructed to do the following immediately. Move indoors and remain inside. Avoid windows and exterior walls. Shut off ventilation systems if possible. Await further instructions from state and federal authorities. Emergency services may be disrupted or unavailable following detonation. This is expected. Airspace over Wyoming and neighboring states has been fully restricted. All civilian air traffic has been grounded until further notice. This action does not constitute a declaration of war, nor does it indicate hostile intent toward any nation or population. It is a domestic containment response to an unprecedented and uncontrollable threat. Additional emergency action notifications will be issued as information becomes available. Do not spread unverified information. Do not approach the exclusion zone. Do not attempt to record or observe the event. This concludes this emergency action notification. Remain tuned to this station for further instructions.
This is the Emergency Communications Network. If you can hear this broadcast, please remain tuned in. This message is being delivered live from a federal emergency relay station. At approximately 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, a nuclear strike was carried out within the Cheyenne exclusion zone. We are now receiving confirmed post-detonation surveillance. The strike did not neutralize the threat. Satellite imagery shows the detonation occurred as planned. Yield was within expected parameters. The blast zone was fully realized. The entity was located at ground zero at the time of impact. It survived. Repeat, the entity survived. Visual confirmation indicates no significant structural or physiological damage. The crater remains. The surrounding area has been leveled. The entity is still active. Movement has been observed. There is no measurable reduction in hostile behavior. This information has been verified by multiple independent systems. At this time, federal authorities are suspending all further escalation protocols. There are no remaining response options currently available. We have obtained limited information regarding the identity of the entity. This information does not represent a solution. Internal documentation refers to the entity by the name Jerry. That is all the verified information we have. There is no known origin. There is no known method of termination. There is no known method of containment. If you are listening to this broadcast within the state of Wyoming, you are advised to evacuate immediately, if evacuation is still possible. Do not move toward Cheyenne. Do not attempt to observe the exclusion zone. If you are hearing music, if you hear a melody where there should be none, you are instructed to take shelter and cease movement. Military command structures remain intact at this time, but engagement has been suspended. I am going to be very clear. This situation is no longer considered recoverable. We will continue broadcasting as long as this station remains operational. If this transmission ends abruptly, assume all emergency networks have failed. This is the Emergency Communications Network. Please stay off the roads if you can. Remain inside. And do not look for answers where there are none. We are still here. For now.